I mentioned at the end of my last video that I will continue to make YouTube videos as long as I am, making enough from YouTube and Patreon that I can afford to. I had a couple of comments from people saying, I thought you made videos for fun and didn't care about money. Why is it supposed to be about money? I make about £100 a month from YouTube, and then I make about 400 from Patreon. It goes up and down, people pledge, people cancel. I get paid in dollars, so the worse Brexit is, the exchange rate changes. In terms of my outgoing expenses, I have the rent is 500. I have credit card and loan payments, which cost 800. My phone bill is £4 a month. Internet is 20. So yeah, you get a rough idea. Do you know what Black Friday is? Well, obviously you've probably heard of Black Friday, the event where, once a year all the companies do big sales. But I don't know if you know why it's called Black Friday. It sounds like a tribute to all the people that get run over by shopping trolleys. Companies, when they talk about their profit and loss, they're either black or red. I don't know why it's not green and red. If they're in the black, it means that they're in profit. And if they're in the red, it means that they haven't made money or they're in debt or whatever. And they call it Black Friday because it's the day that companies make loads of money and they balance their books, and they're definitely not in debt after that because they've made so much because they've done all those big sales. Next month, I am going to be having an event that I call Red September. So I have agreed a sale for my boat. We moved off and moved here, and I had enough money to pay, first few months of rent, and then the boat will be sold. And then that will cover us while we do our software course. And then in the new year, we get a software job. And also I can use the money from the boat to pay off loads of debt. So I'm going to be really in a good position, start earning proper money, stabilize, blah, blah, blah. 2 days ago, the woman who was going to buy the boat said she can't now. So that's good. So I'm sort of frantically trying to find someone else to see if they're interested in buying the boat. But I obviously budgeted to have quite a big chunk of money arrive that is now not. The big loan that I was going to pay off, I just have to keep paying that. So that's £575 a month that I don't have because I didn't expect to need it. So I have rung the loan company this morning and said, can I reduce my payments in any way? They're going to let me only pay £100 a month for the next 3 months. But that means I'm in arrears, so that goes on my credit score. It'll be erased after 6 years. Georgia and I had a plan that we would be able to buy a house in 2 or 3 years, but I think now it will be 6. Every 2 years, the boat has to be blacked, which isn't like some offensive ethnic thing. It basically means that the boat is painted with tar around the bottom of the boat where it sits in the water. To stop the boat just wearing away with the rust of the water, you paint the outside of the boat in tar. The water just erodes the layer of tar, and every couple of years you have to get it redone. A big thing when you're selling a boat is how long ago was it blacked, is it in good condition? And I am in a position to say it's been blacked 2 years ago and it's going to be re-blacked in a month's time. So you will buy the boat and then you'll have it re-blacked immediately. So congratulations, I've booked it in. Marinas are usually booked up about 6 months in advance. But that costs about £2,000 that I don't have because I thought that someone else was going to pay for it because it'd be their boat. So I've either got to find £2,000 or I'm going to have to just cancel the booking, which I think might make it even harder to sell the boat because now it's well, it hasn't been blacked really for 2 years. It really needs it. It's not going to be black for another 6 months. That's not good. I recorded an album in Bristol over the last few weeks, and to pay for that, I did a balance transfer, which is basically when you take the money that you have, that you owe on a credit card, and you move some of it onto a new credit card. A new credit card provider will agree to not charge you any interest for a period of time. In my case, it's 6 months. So I thought, great, I'm going to sell the boat, so I'll just free up a bit of money, I'll pay less interest, I'll pay any interest for 6 months on that, and by the time the interest needs to be all dealt with, I will have this big chunk of money be all sorted. It isn't sorted. So I have this lovely album, and I've still got to pay 500 quid for mastering. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. So it might just sound shit or not come out. So what a waste of money that was. I mean, I think it sounds good. Doesn't matter though, does it? The only way that that's relevant is if one of the songs becomes a hit. And it's not going to, because the last album that I released sold 35 copies. I'm not bitter about it, I'm just explaining why my music is definitely a passion project at this point. And also, George and I are moving out of this flat in a month because we've found a cheaper one. We are downsizing to a flat about the size of the boat, to be honest. It's £200 a month less in rent, so that's less money I have to find. Doing that means that there's a bit of crossover where you pay rent on here and you're paying rent on the new place, and you also have to pay a deposit on the new place. I'll get the deposit back from this place eventually, but I still have to find the money in the first place to then receive it. And maybe it would be worth moving back onto the boat. We still need to sell it to get all this money to stabilize our finances. That's why we moved off it in the first place. If we move onto it and it's all we've got, and then someone says they want to buy it, we'll just be fucked. Also, it comes with other hidden costs. We'll have to commute to the software course from a couple of towns that way and get a train in every day, and that'll cost more, and we'll probably end up spending the same amount that we do in rent anyway. All in all, next month, over the next 30 days, right, with this month's rent, next month's rent, and the deposit and the new place rent, and my loan payments for this month and my loan payments for next month, and the blacking and the music mastering, I need to find about £9,000. Isn't that a lot? Isn't it weird to be in a position where you have so little money and yet owe so many people so much of it? I wrote about all this on Reddit once, a couple of years ago, when I had all my credit cards and things. I went on a personal finance subreddit and I said, look, I need some help, advice, try and lower my payments. Here are all my credit cards, here's the interest rates, this is what I pay every month. And someone who knows me off the internet sent me a message and said, so glad you're in crippling debt. Well, good for you. I mean, look, I'm not, what am I going to do about it? Like, sit and cry or be ashamed? There's not much you can do to me at this point that I haven't already done to myself. You know how, like, you go on Instagram and like people talk about mental health issues revolving around social media. There's all these people that have their amazing lives and like their food looks amazing and they're on the beach. Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I'm so great. And like it used to be that like, when you watch reality shows, it was generally you felt better than the people that were on the reality shows. And so you're like, oh, thank God. It's kind of a form of escapism, makes you feel better about your life. Now, everyone feels worse about their lives because they're all consuming like what everyone else is doing. I like to just think of these videos as readdressing the balance. You know, you're not in this much debt probably, and you can feel better about yourself. Think of this as my gift to your mental health. I guess when you give money to someone on Patreon, you don't know where that money's going, and so that's where it's going. It's going to the bank and credit card companies and things, at least for the rest of the year, and then I'll be able to start earning money and whatever. So right now, as I say, I earn about £500 a month from YouTube. I earn about £100 or £200 a month from music on top of that, so 700. That is certainly enough for me to put some time aside, at least once or twice a month, to make videos. I want to keep you updated. It's not enough that I can commit to doing it like once a week or twice a week, because I can spend that time looking for ways to advertise the boat or doing, you know, temp work, folding envelopes. So I hope that goes some way to being transparent about what I earn and how I earn it and what you contribute, and like why if you don't see me for a couple of weeks, I'm not just going, they're not paying me enough like a fucking oligarch. I've got to go now and chop an onion.